let's talk about the coronavirus outbreak in Nigeria. Now, as you can see, we've got 318 confirmed cases with only 10 deaths. Now, what struck me about Nigeria was their extremely low rate of confirmed cases and deaths. Now, in comparison to their population, now Nigeria is one of the most populated nations in the world. We'll just see what their we can get an actual figure. Alright, so you've got over 200 million people. It says here 206 million people, ranking it the 7th most populous country in the world. Now, here in Australia, we've been put on lockdown and had social distancing restrictions placed against us where you can't come within 6 feet of someone when you're out in public. Now, if you look at the numbers in Australia and other parts of the Western world in comparison to Nigeria, something doesn't add up. Alright, now, I just want to, I've got a video here I want you to take a look at. Now, the reason I want to play this is because I want to sort of show you how difficult it would be in a country like this to not only enforce social distancing, but for the residents to actually be able to socially distance themselves from one another, due to the close proximity of their living quarters and just the way that their towns and cities are set out. Yeah, so I mean, could you imagine having to police that? I mean, that there's a lot different than anything you'll see in Australia. So, I mean, and that's only one small area outside of Lagos, and I mean, look at that. That's it's also on water. It's a floating slum. Now, what I want you to think about is, you know, like when you go to the supermarket here in Australia, or let's say you live in America or the UK, Italy, France, somewhere like that, it's quite easy to make sure you don't come in close contact with others. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but in places like Nigeria, the way they shop, the way they earn a living, the way they get about is in many cases completely different than anything you're probably used to. Now, I've got some footage here of a market, and the reason I want to play this is just because I want to show you how difficult it would be to distance yourself from one another in places like this.
Today we are at Ashejere Market in Makoko, and we'll be presenting you one of the biggest fish markets in Lagos.
I mean, that's there's a lot of people there.
Lagos, check this out. Wow, they have different sizes of fish and different types. So I'll be taking you on a tour of this market, whereby you'll be seeing different types. I believe that we have a shop.
Right, now how are you going to socially distance yourself in places like that? Now, I think Nigeria didn't announce lockdown restrictions inside their country until the end of March. Alright, yet, so that was over a month after their first case, yet they still have only 10 recorded deaths. Alright, now let's just take a look at the charts here. COVID-19 cases in Nigeria. Alright, so as you can see, you've just got a steady growth rate there. You 10 to 15 to 20, back to 5, back up to 15 or so per day. Alright, now we'll just we'll take a quick look at this map. So it says here Lagos, Nigeria is the largest city in Africa with a population of 9 million. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the world with one of the largest and busiest seaports on the continent. And that's just the population density there. So you can see the red up into white. That's the higher the population density. And there's a large area there around Nigeria. The only place you could sort of even compare it to would be maybe up there in Egypt. Alright, now I had a look at other diseases that were about in Nigeria at around about the same time as this supposed outbreak of coronavirus, and I come across a disease known as Lassa fever. Right, so this is from the World Health Organization, this document here, and it says from the 1st of January through to the 9th of February, 472 laboratory confirmed cases, including 70 deaths, have been reported. It goes on to say Lassa fever is endemic in Nigeria, and the annual peak of human cases is usually observed during the dry season, December through to April, following the reproduction cycle of the mastromy rats in the wet season. It says, given that 90 to 95% of human infections are due to indirect exposure to, through food or household items contaminated by infected rats, urine and feces, or direct contact with infected rats. Now, I would dare say that not many people watching this video would have heard of Lassa fever. Alright, so we've got another article here which states between the 1st of January and the 2nd of February, nearly 450 suspected cases of the disease were reported. with 43 deaths. Alright, so obviously this is a disease that is about every year in Nigeria, with a far higher, 4 times higher fatality rate and a much higher infectious rate than the coronavirus. Yet I'm certain that not many people watching this video would have heard of it, and not only that, but no one in Nigeria would have called for a complete shutdown of the country over an endemic that kills a lot more people, it seems, than the coronavirus, according to official statistics. Right, now, look, we'll finish this video up here. I just wanted to point out a few anomalies with Nigeria, and keep in mind too, Nigeria has a strong trade ties with China. Alright, so it's not like you can't just say, oh well, it's on the other side of the world, they've got nothing to do with China, because I mean, if you do a little bit of research, you'll find that they've got a lot to do with China. China provides a lot of aid for Nigeria as well. Alright, thanks for watching.